Hi, I'm Dustin Abbott. You've seen in previous videos that I am into the whole sauna, cold plunge type culture. And so I have been doing all of the ice packs kind of things to keep my cold plunge at temperature. And I finally broke down and decided that I was going to buy a chiller. And so today, as I'm about to do the install work, I thought, you know what, since I'm a reviewer, I'm gonna go ahead and review this Titan chiller from Titan Wellness. And I'll document the installation process, give you feedback on how it goes. Hopefully this will help some of you that might consider doing something similar as you kind of see my own journey with this and my determination on how well it's going to work. Now, quick caveat, while I am wearing the t-shirt for the installation that came in the box, this product was not sent to me by Titan, nor have they asked me to do this review. I purchased this with my own money, and this is more just me kind of giving back to those of you that might be interested, seeing whether or not this is something that will work for you. So all of that aside, we're going to jump into the installation, which I have noticed already. They did send configurations for both a direct connection, which would work well if I happen to have a Titan Wellness tub. I don't. Mine's a custom built design, and so we also have the ability to just do it more drop-in status. I'm going to try to do a little bit of a hybrid because I do have an outlet hose where it would drain. I'm going to try to use that to connect on one end to allow flow to go through it, and then probably go over the top and dropping in the secondary line. So we'll see how the installation goes. Let's jump in. Now, one problem I'm going to try to solve before I actually get in and start hooking things up is that while I am going to try to connect one hose underneath coming out of the tub, I'm going to need to come back in over the top here. I do have a custom kind of like hot tub cover that I had made for this that goes over the top, and so rather than allow hot or cold air to be getting into it, I'm probably going to drill out through the side here and try to run one of those hoses into this corner and over the top of the interior liner of the tub inside, and then drop down in there. Okay, so I deflated the inner lining a bit so I could get that out of the way. I drilled through underneath here and so that I could run the hose inside. And then importantly, I had to cut through. I have a lot of extra insulation in this to help to maintain temperature. I've got a lot of like 3-inch rigid insulation, and then also a little bit of spray foam in there as well to hit the cracks. And so very importantly, after I'm done, I'm going to first tuck tape up inside on my plastic lining that is before we get to the actual inflatable portion of it. Make sure that I'm keeping any kind of drafts from coming through there, particularly important in winter around here. And then if I deem necessary, I will use a little bit of spray foam around where I go in, though that may not be necessary because they do have some really good insulation around their actually pipes here. And so I was able to force a little of that up inside there. That should help to insulate that line. And of course, as long as water is circulating, it should keep it from freezing up. Okay, now that I have both the connection point potentially for the outlet hose and then now for the inlet hose, I'm going to go ahead and reinflate my inflatable inner portion, and then I'll be able to proceed with the actual installation of the chiller. Okay, so the hope is I'm going to be able to use that as the outlet, and then now I've installed and inflated, and that's going to be the inlet hose. Okay, I'll do my prettying up here in a moment, but already it is operating and it is starting to cool things. Connections were fairly easy to make, no other big complications there. And we can see that down here that it is doing the circulating there. And right now I've started it, and temperature, as you can see, of the water is sitting here at about 50 degrees. I'm wanting to take it down to about 45. I can just hear the fan kicking on from the coolant there, and so it is actually going to be working at bringing that temperature down now. All right, a few weeks have gone by, and so I've been able to fully evaluate the overall installation here, and not just how well it went at the moment, but how it's actually held up, at least in the short term. So first of all, if you're doing this installation and you actually have bought a Titan tub, it's going to be a really, really simple setup. I mean, the instructions are fairly easy to follow, and it's going to be pretty much plug and play on a Titan tub itself. Maybe some other tubs, I don't know. In my case, as I've already demonstrated, I have a little bit more of a custom setup, and so it was a little less straightforward. But I will say this, there was a lot of different fittings and pieces in here. And even though I needed to, for example, I had a actual section of rubber hose that I had coming out of the drain coming from my tub that I was actually going to use as my outlet and bringing it around here. And then I needed to plug into that and then create that or quick release fitting that comes with the Titan chiller. But I was able to utilize some of the pieces that they had in the box and to create that. And so certainly if you just play around a little bit, I suspect most people in most situations should be able to figure it out, even if you don't have a lot of plumbing expertise. The fittings themselves, at least at this stage, do follow the instructions, and they include some Teflon tape to wrap around the threads to help you to get a nice tight fitting. If you'll follow those instructions and do those simple steps, their actual quick release different pieces here all seem to connect nice and clean. I haven't had any issues with leaking. Obviously, you're going to have a little bit of moisture from condensation if you're in a hot environment and that cold water is running through there. But the hoses themselves are nicely insulated, and so you don't have an issue with that. And I actually am going to wrap the rubber hose section that I have here. I've actually got an insulated wrap that the next time I drain the tub and I can move it, I'm going to get behind there and wrap that to help with any condensation coming off of that. But overall, I think the installation process is fairly straightforward. And one thing I will say in their favor, there was a lot in the box, a lot of different fittings. I have a lot of leftover pieces, which is maybe going to help for one other problem that we'll jump to in just a moment. So there's one other complication that I am going to have to resolve come winter. Right now it's summer, everything is great with the system as it is, but my original plan was to keep everything as insulated as possible and so that I could continue to operate this through the winter, because I'm trying to achieve two things through investing in this chiller. Obviously, one is to actually control temperature through the chiller portion, but also to use the circulation pump. And in my case, I actually paid the additional amount to have a UV filter as a part of it as well. I'm wanting to do everything I can to filter the water, because as it was, I was having to completely drain and clean this out about every 2 weeks, because there would be, floaters starting to come up in it and the water would be getting murkier and a little bit scarier going into. I'm doing this for my health, not as a health risk. And so I really wanted that filtration portion as a part of it as well. The complication is that during the winter, as I was talking to Titan's engineer, during the winter, there's obviously water that comes through the chiller portion itself, but the chiller is not going to be actually running during that time. And so there is a potential, because that water, some of it is held inside and it's not circulating or moving through, means that there is the potential for that water to freeze and to, thus cause issues with seals and leaks inside the actual chiller unit itself. So their recommendation is that I eliminate the chiller portion during the winter. Of course, I still want to have the filtration, the circulation pump running through there. So that's fine, except for it actually has a power supply that plugs into the back of the chiller itself. It's not going to draw a lot of power because the pump itself is only rated at 30 watts, but it actually has a male in that's going into a female plug in the back of the actual chiller itself. Most adapters that you would find tend to be, like, for example, for laptops or things like that, they're actually a male in that's plugging into a female in to provide power. So I'm going to have to solve that. Fortunately, the engineer believes that they do have, I haven't seen it listed on their site, but he believes that they do have available for purchase a separate power supply that I could purchase. And then that's going to require a little bit of a fitting change, because I'm going to just be doing a complete circulation loop and not going through the chiller portion at all, but just rather through that little pump as well. And I'm probably going to find a way to locate it inside my insulated housing, and so that I keep everything under good insulation, though if that water keeps moving, it probably should be just fine. So for those of you that live in cold climates, know that come winter, once you hit that freezing point, you may have to do some reconfiguring if you want to have greater longevity in your actual chiller portion. At that point, we don't need to chill the water. In fact, I'm going to have to drop a little heater that I have into it that helps to keep that temperature up at about 8 degrees Celsius, mid 40s Fahrenheit, which is about where I like to keep my cold plunge most of the time. So let's talk power use here. When it's just the circulation pump that is running, I hooked it up to a power station and I saw that I was drawing about 40 watts on average with just the circulation pump running. Now, when the actual refrigeration kicks on, as it is at the moment, and it's bringing the temperature down, it's going to draw about 300 watts of energy right under that when the refrigeration kicks on. So I ran it for about 2 hours. I purposely set it to drop a few degrees of temperature because my tub is well insulated. The chiller is only having to run just periodically for me, but I wanted to intentionally make it run some to give you a typical mix. And so in the middle of the day, it used about 553 watt hours of energy over that course of time. And so that gives you a little bit of an average of how much you might use on a regular basis in terms of electricity. Well, this will be the first video I've ever done while submerged in water temperature that's about 45 degrees. But I did want to give you some feedback from actually inside the tub over 2 weeks after installation, where I'm down in water that is not only cold, but it's also still clean. So let's talk about some things that I like and some things that I don't like. And I'm going to try to get it right in one take. Even though I'm trying not to submerge all the way to cover the microphone, I am going to get a little bit cold here after that. But as far as things that I like, at this point, I would definitely have already had to clean out the water. The water is still nice and clean in here. I still got to use the skimmer periodically, things on your feet. It's not going to get 100% of everything, but it doesn't have the floaties. It's not building up any kind of, algae or just the other stuff that's typically a part of it. Okay, 2 weeks in. Typically, this is when I would be having to definitely change the water because it would have lots of floaters in it. But look at this, still looking pretty clean. And so definitely the filtration is helping a whole lot. I'm also loving having a nice stable temperature, and you have the ability to use an app if you buy the app version, and so remotely from anywhere, because it's connected to Wi-Fi here, I can actually moderate my temperature. I can take it up and down. When I go on vacation, I can allow it to drift up a bit. But when I set that temperature, I can also set on the unit itself how much it's going to fluctuate before the actual compressor kicks in. I think by default it's about 5 degrees Fahrenheit. I lowered it to about 2 degrees because I like a pretty consistent temperature in here. And essentially, my wife and I have negotiated a temperature that is acceptable to both of us. And so she would like a little bit warmer. I would like it a little bit colder, though at the moment it's cold enough. And so we have it set at about 45, 46 degrees Fahrenheit. And so all of that is good. The temperature stayed remarkably stable, and I love not having to mess with ice or ice packs. And one thing I will note, definitely because mine is so well insulated, as soon as I get in here and my body temperature comes in here, that's when I hear the compressor kick on, because it's the heat that I'm bringing from my body inside the tub that's more likely to raise the temperature than external temperatures because it's insulated well. And so as far as its basic functionality, it's doing a great job in terms of both keeping the water cold, but then also keeping the water relatively clean, though there's going to be practical limits to that. What about some things that I don't like? The main thing that's kind of stood out to me is that I have found the circulation pump a little bit whiny, and so I'm hearing it all the time. I'm intending to make a more permanent fixture there at the end of the tub to protect everything a bit more, and hopefully as a part of that, I'm going to try to have airflow through there, and so it's not causing any kind of issues for that. But I also am hoping to muffle that sound a little bit, so I don't love that. I've got a really efficient tub, and so but I did see that when the actual refrigeration kicks on, 300 watts of draw is significant. And so if you don't have a well-insulated tub or you live in a very hot place, just be aware that it's going to cost a little bit more to run it. And it's not just that. There are some consumables involved, most notably in the filters themselves, which you can buy from them. I haven't tried to source them independently yet, but a 3-pack runs you somewhere under $40. You can get a 10-pack for about $100. But, they're recommending that you change those every 4 to 6 weeks. And so that means that, you're going to run through some cost in filters. So just be aware of that. And then finally, I wish that it was maybe better insulated to handle truly being outdoor. That was kind of my understanding, is that I could set this up outdoor and keep it going all outdoor. So I'm a little disappointed that it's not really ready for winter conditions, and I'm gonna have to go to an alternate solution, using some of their components for the winter. So that brings me to my conclusion. Cost of this, depending on what unit you buy, and this is the 1/3 horsepower, and so you can get more powerful units depending on your weather conditions. So, you know, you're gonna have to use the calculus based on that. But for me, the cost runs anywhere between $600 and $825 US. I got the more expensive version. I did catch a 20% discount sale, but I got the more expensive version because I did want to have, mainly I wanted the UV light, because I have definitely seen lots of floaters in this over time, and so I definitely wanted to do as much filtration as possible. The Wi-Fi is also a nice addition, because going through the menus on the unit is a little bit clunky, so the Wi-Fi is a cleaner process for that, and using an app. So anyway, I do appreciate all of that. It comes with a 2-year warranty. I wish it was a bit longer than that, but you know, that's, I think, about standard for the industry for these things. So at the end of the day, it's been a positive experience. It's doing what I wanted to do. I found installation pretty straightforward. And other than those objections that I've raised, I would say that this is, at least in the initial, this is a good buy. If you're into cold plunging, this is a great way to keep your water clean and to keep it cold, without having to mess with ice all the time, without having to mess with ice packs and all of the work that's involved with that. I'm Dustin Abbott. If you want more information, I will throw a link to their website in the description down below, where you can go and check it out for yourself. As always, thanks for watching. Have a great day, and let the light in.